Hey, welcome back to Your Health Moment. I'm Dr. Fitness, and we have a very exciting show today. A friend of mine reached out and introduced me and connected me to Christopher Kell. He's born and raised right here in Jacksonville. He has a great story and an amazing product, and I'd love for you to hear about it straight from Chris. So, Chris, if you can tell the listeners who you are and then let them know about the product, Neotein.
Absolutely. I'll do a quick introduction for myself. Thank you so much, by the way, Max. I really appreciate being on your podcast and just having a chance to talk to you and learn from you for the next half hour or so, and hopefully more in the future. But yeah, I'm Chris Kell. Nice to meet everybody. Nice to meet you, Max. And I am the Chief Operating Officer for Neotein Nutrition. But first of all, I am a guy that was born and raised here in Jacksonville, Florida. Went all through public school. My mom was a Duval County public school teacher for over 30 years. She taught at Crown Point Elementary School. I ended up graduating from Wolfson in 2004 and then proceeded to leave, headed to the University of Florida, graduated there with an East African history degree, and then commissioned into the Army as an officer. There I spent time in Germany, Africa, North Africa, East Africa, the Middle East, Afghanistan, things along those lines, and Eastern Europe, kind of in a couple different positions. But I spent my last 6 years as a active duty civil affairs operator, working for Special Operations Command Africa, and then also helping with a couple deployments in Eastern Europe as well. And that's where a lot of my experience comes from. Long story short, my wife got pregnant on my last deployment, and I left the Army pretty much the next day because I wanted to be an active and present father. Took me a few months to find my footing, but I got a job with a Fortune 5 company that ended up taking us all over the United States and then actually to Japan for a couple of years. And during that time, my wife, who had 2 children via cesarean section within 12 months of each other, started pursuing triathlon to try to kind of get a hold back to what she did before that incredibly kind of physically demanding year of having kids. And she's actually the inventor and the developer of the product. And, I gave some feedback from my background. But it was actually in Japan. She was training almost 30 hours a week. She's on her bike. She's swimming. When I'm home, I'm taking care of the kids so she can go for a long run down in Osaka, Japan at night. And we just couldn't find anything on the market that could meet the needs that we were looking for. So I took collagen in the morning. I took a supplemental whey protein, and I would, of course, drink water. Something called, or if I was really dehydrated, if it's like really hot in the summer in Japan, I would drink something called sweat, which sounds really bad, but it tastes really good. It's like the Japanese version of like what we consider a Gatorade. And, I had all these products in there, and Charisse is doing research, and she's like, why don't people just use collagen? And that started kind of like 2 years of research and development into what ended up being Neotein, which is our proprietary formulation, which is basically a fortified collagen protein that has electrolytes in it and pretty much nothing else. No sugar. It's not going to spike your insulin. And because we fortified the collagen protein, you get all the benefits of like a collagen supplement, but and most of the benefits of like a whey or an egg protein, because it is technically a complete protein because it has the complete amino acid profile, but without a lot of the allergens associated with it. My time in the Army, I was exposed to everything. So I'm allergic to a lot of stuff now. Like I learned about inflammation because I was inflamed all the time, no matter what I ate. And it was actually moving to Japan and getting off of kind of like my traditional Western diet and getting into like a Japanese diet. Mm-hmm. That had me like, oh, my headaches are going away. Oh, this is making me feel better for these reasons. And that's what made me realize like I'm allergic to dairy. I'm allergic to whey. I have some allergens to some traditional, very popular Western things. So we developed this product that's a single stick pack, single serving with 10 grams of protein, tastes like lemon lime, that is easy to absorb, easy to digest, and is supposed to be really easy on the body while still providing a lot of benefits like hydration and protein at the same time.
Very cool. So, and where's your collagen sourced? The collagen that you use?
The collagen is sourced from the United States.
Oh, okay.
So it's 100% sourced in the United States, manufactured, put together in the United States from a company out of New Jersey. Well, they're also out of out of Long Island as well. But it's come from the Northeast. The cows come from the West. My time in kind of like the senior levels of like a logistics agency kind of made me realize that I think COVID taught us a lot of things, but one thing it definitely taught us is supply chain resiliency was really important for us. And we wanted to make sure we could keep costs down for ourselves and for our customers by not and lead times down by ensuring everything is from the United States that we do and what we make. So that's something that we're very proud of, that we're able to kind of put money back into our economy whenever we do an order for our next flavor or for a backup for a lemon lime or things along those lines.
That's crazy. So would the 10-year-old Chris ever imagine that he would be COO of Neotein?
Oh gosh, no. The 10-year-old Chris was just trying to figure out, well, shoot, that's the end of elementary school, right? So I was doing soccer. I was outside a lot. I was sweating my butt off all the time. And I think that I would never dream this to be a possibility. Like, my mom worked really hard, and that's something that I definitely took from her, is that hard work. But coming from our family, I was taught that if you work hard, you're going to be okay and you're going to make it. And I don't think I believed it, just to be honest, because we were on a limited budget most of the time, and we didn't have a lot. My mom did her very best to provide for us. Don't get me wrong. She worked 2 jobs. She worked job in the morning, and then she'd work at the Avenues Mall until 9 or 10 o'clock at night to make sure we could like cover the bills and stuff. But I just didn't believe it. And then it's like one of those things, if you keep at it and you keep just doing it, if you might not believe it, eventually hard work becomes truth and reality. And it's kind of led us to here. And I'm really proud of the stuff that she kind of taught me and she instilled in me during my time growing up.
It seems you have connections to 2 super women, your mother as well as your wife. I mean, 2 children, running triathlons, training all the time. I mean, coming up with the idea for the product. Wow. I mean, that's like serious. So she's really probably just as highly motivated and on top of things and organized as you are.
I would say she's probably more than I am. So I think what I discovered about myself is I'm really good at taking something and like refining it and making it better, and taking my experiences that I've had and like taking risks in like a kind of like not in a box, but in like an open field that has like boundaries on it. My wife is really good at just getting off the field and going into the woods and then climbing the mountain and just going into the uncharted territory. So it's been really fun for me to be part of this business with her. And I think I've had a lot of people like, y'all can work together. I'm like, yeah, we can work together. Like, congratulations, well done. So it's been really fun being able to kind of be part of that and help her streamline some things while she gives this really awesome vision of what we can do. And while it's going to be hard to get there, like, it's possible. So I think we're very much like a yin and yang, we feed off each other's energy a lot, and that's been really helpful. It's been hard sometimes, but it's been very, very helpful the entire time.
Yeah, that's fantastic, because not all family businesses work as seamlessly as yours seems to be working. That's for sure. But congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
What was the target audience? I mean, when you guys were thinking about the product, who was your customer?
So our customer was a busy human being that didn't have time to kind of go to 2 or 3 different sources for like one product. So we really tried to create almost a one-stop shop for the needs of anyone that's really busy. And that's mostly people between 25 and 55 is where we initially started off at, because we're a young company, we're self-funded, we don't have any VCs, we're just kind of trying to do this on our own. And what we have discovered over our first year is that, there's a whole bunch of use cases here that we didn't foresee. So a couple of those is, yes, the athletic part, that's my wife's background. Me in a different way, being a former special operator in the Army, I also have I'm used to working at a very high level of physical performance while trying to maintain like a cognitive sense of what's going on. And that was where we aimed initially. but as we were getting feedback from customers as they're sharing it out, like my wife's father, which she credits 100% with her drive to do well in her entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
because he high school educated. Basically, let me tell his story because I love bragging about David. David's one of my favorite people in the world. So David is a high school educated guy in Colorado Springs, and there's a hailstorm, and their bunch of roofs were damaged. And David said, "I can fix that." So he went and got certified, got just started fixing roofs for people, and then that started a contracting business, which was successful in Colorado Springs. And he's been doing contracting and labor like that ever since then. He's been doing it well. And that all just started with like, I see a problem, I'm going to go fix that. Oh, nobody else wants to fix it, I'll do it. Let me be the person that goes and sits in the roof in the sun all day, and let me see if I can build something. And he built a very successful contracting business in the Springs, and now he does it up in Minneapolis. But it was that drive that got my wife into it, and I think it's one of those things that made me proud to kind of see that growth brought down, kind of like helps us feed into our own kids. And I'm sorry, I can ramble sometimes. So
No, that's great. And so your father-in-law you saw as a really good customer for your product?
Exactly. So he's in his 60s now. He's been physical his entire life. There's been a lot of research that's come out that suggests that taking collagen is really, really important to maintaining joint health and flexibility and skin elasticity. And he started taking it, and of course anything that takes a little while to get going, but he takes one in the morning, he takes one during the day as well, and it's found that he's easier to get his hydration in because he likes the flavor. It's easy to drink, it's very light, it's very refreshing. And he noticed over the course of the first week, like he wasn't quite as sore going up and downstairs. He wasn't when he was laying tile or when he was replacing cabinetry in a building or something. He's like, this actually works. He's like, you might be onto something. And I'm like, we think we're onto something. We think it's a good
fantastic
thing. So we have a lot of contractors that use it, anywhere from Minneapolis to Denver. And they use it for the crews. And they've actually seen, we don't have any hard data on this, but saying people aren't hurt as much. People seem to be working a little bit more efficiently, and people don't seem to have as many aches and pains. Now, we don't have any hard data on that, but we never would have thought in a million years. A third thing is, my wife and would go out and with her friends, and they would go enjoy their evening, and they'd come back, and she wouldn't be feeling great because, of course, they might have taken a few drinks in. And next thing you know, she's like, give me a thing of Neotein. I'm like, okay, I give her some Neotein. Only person to wake up without a hangover the next day. And it makes sense if you think about what helps your body process alcohol through the system. Well, you need protein, you need electrolytes, you need sodium, you need potassium. And that's essentially what our product is. So it kind of helps with multiple forms of recovery or just sustainment of people's kind of physical well-being. So it's been pretty neat. I like it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it helps people from athletes to workers.